let's move forward then. December 1977, a very, very important month in terms of Buster history.
A fantastic
You
month.
flew to Japan. You were probably unaware of how you knew that you'd had a couple of hits, and you'd been accepted as a reasonably popular band, but you're welcome, really.
Gobsmacked. I was absolutely gobsmacked. It
was, I mean, the shades of Beatlemania, really, wasn't it?
Well, actually, the Beatles situation, like where all the fans are on top of the airport, etc. I mean, personally, I was gobsmacked when we got off the plane in Japan.
We were on the news.
Yeah, it was live.
It was on NHK 9 o'clock news.
It was like the Japanese version of our news at 10. Boom, there's Buster, we arrived,
You didn't play small gigs either. I mean, the Budokan. And I mean, people think of the Budokan. I think the first Western rock band to play the Budokan.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I'd never even heard of the Budokan. I didn't realise. One of the things with Buster, and I think Peter would back us up on it, is that we didn't realise, just how successful we were when we got there. But gigs like the Budokan to us was just the name of a place. We didn't know the significance or the history behind it. It
had been built for the 1964 Olympics, where they held the judo and the martial arts side of the Olympics.
I know since that the Beatles had a problem there because it's a there's a martial arts hall, and I think there were people at the time that didn't want pop bands playing in this sort of sacred hall. And 10 years earlier, when the Beatles did it, I think there were a few problems there. Thankfully, when we went, it was it was all sorted out or whatever. But it was only afterwards that we realised that bands like Bob Dylan, Cheap Trick, the Beatles had done this.
It is a major. It's in fact, if you're playing Japan and you're a big enough band, the Budokan is the venue.
That's what I always used to say. If people say, "Were you successful in Japan?" I said, "Well, we played the Budokan twice in one day because we did a matinee."
That's right. It was actually Christmas Day. It was actually Christmas Day, 1977.
Yeah.
I think we did a show at 2:00. And the show at 5, I think, or something like that. As a headline band, not supporting
there was
anybody.
Nobody on.
It was just us, wasn't it? Yeah.
And you also did some Japanese television as well, because again, there's footage of you playing live, which must have been great because you weren't miming; you were actually playing live in the studio, which they didn't do too much.
There's a great video piece on YouTube or on Pulse Records site, www.pulse-records.co.uk. With loads of Buster bits and pieces that are now on there. But there's one in particular that's one of my favourites, because I've not seen this until it was sent to us. And that's when we were playing, I think it was an NHK special. It was a bit like Sunday Night at the London Palladium. British people will know what that show is. But it was like that, and we were halfway through this song. And next thing you know, all these dancing girls came on and started singing along with it. And we had to sort of... I think we had to bust our way through the end of it. But that, to me, was one of the highlights of being there, because it showed just how good we were live, and we were a good live band. To be able to do a show like that, and to be able to sort of turn it on with a couple of minutes' notice, to say these people are coming on stage to sing with you. They want something in the key of E.
So rearrange something quickly, wasn't it? Yeah.
So we were able to do that because that's what we'd always done.
Well, that's it. You see all the experience that we've had. As from like 13, 14, doing the club,
starting off with the Crosby Social.
Exactly. So
so all that experience, there's nothing that beats experience.
And it's great because when you look at it, you can tell we're all having a great time. I know I was. And
well, the amazing thing as well. I mean, I think Pete, you were 18, Rob, you were 19.
I think I was just 19.
Kevin and Les was 16, 17.
No, Kevin and Les were all our birthdays. Kevin, Les, and me are all in September, and I'm a year almost older than those two, believe it or not, even though I might look the youngest, particularly then. Not sure about now, but I did then. But I was a year older than them, and Pete's about the same age as me.
Yeah,
a little bit younger.
But when you consider,
April.
Here you are, you're playing the Budokan. Okay, none of you were yet 20. You're playing the Budokan, two sold out performances, Christmas Day. You have hit records. You were presented with your gold discs as well at the time.
That was good.
Yeah. My zip was open when I got the gold disc.
His trousers were undone. Well, thanks for bringing that
up.
We're verging into news.
We were sitting behind a great big desk, and we had to go out sort of to get the award, which is up there. I don't know if you can see on camera.
Well, we got a few, didn't we? That was one.
And after I got my gold disc and sat down, I realised that my zip was open. It wasn't done on purpose.
Yeah. But the amazing thing is that you were all under 20. You had this vast amount of experience. You really were at the top of your game, both musically and professionally. And the great thing was that here was an opportunity for you to prove what you wanted to do for the previous 2 or 3 years.
We loved playing live, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, I preferred playing live to recording. Recording's very hard work when you do an album, isn't it?
The recording's great if you're doing your own songs and you've got a bit of. But if you're singing other people's songs, and it was great sometimes if you knew if it was a great song, then you had no problem with it. But there were some tracks that you like better than others.
Yeah.
So when you're doing something that you're not quite sure of or whatever, it's harder to do because your heart's got to be in it to make it sound any good, And there was the odd occasion when the song we were doing might not have been our cup of tea, so that was difficult.
Talking about tea.
Yeah, talking about tea. I think it's time for a cup of tea.
Well, at the end of 1977, you had a very successful Japanese tour. Things looked great. You hopefully going to be going back later in 1978. From Japan, you went to the Philippines. And you played a concert for Imelda Marcos.
Well, it was not for her, but she was. I think she
was the promoter, wasn't she?
She was the promoter, yeah, indirect. We didn't even know she was. Didn't we?
Again, another big gig, the Manila Stadium.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird that. I don't know about you people. I found that a bit. It was great because we stayed in the best hotel in the Far East. It was a beautiful hotel.
That was where Muhammad Ali stayed when he had that big fight, the Thriller in Manila.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That's the same hotel.
But we didn't realise that, we didn't know much about politics then. When we had an armed motorcade to take us to the... not realising that they were there to stop us getting shot.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And...
don't go out. There was a bit of a curfew for us in the Philippines.
We weren't allowed to go anywhere.
Don't go out on your own, etc., etc.
We had armed people...
But anyway...
But when we started to do the TV shows around Manila, you suddenly realise how the majority of people... were living, they were living in like tin shacks, and it was real. And I felt bad about that person. I thought, there's us living it up here, and it was a bit of an eye opener for me one to see all these people.
This amazing hotel, and then 2 minutes down the road, all that tin shack.
Yeah, and that's how the majority of the people lived. So
you weren't playing clubs; you were playing.
It was a big gig
and arenas.
But I always remember we had to play a song. There was some organisation, I don't know whether it was a political, and they said, make sure you play a song for whatever it was, I can't remember now. So, and we had to do this song, and we had to dedicate it to this particular, we didn't ask any questions, it's like, don't shoot me, I'm only the piano player, so we had to play this song for them. But we never had any bad experiences there, unlike the Beatles who were there, they had a nightmare, but, I've got to be honest, we were well looked after while we were there.
Yeah, we were.